That's place.
Agriculture is a key component of President Jonathan's transformation agenda. The agricultural program is very robust and profound. The program is anchored on food security, reducing the huge expenditure on food importation, diversifying the economy, generating foreign exchange and creating jobs. There is no doubt that all of these represent the challenges Nigeria has faced over the years.
We spend $10 billion a year importing basic food, wheat, rice, sugar, and fish. Okay, we cannot sustain that because the more we do that, the more jobs we export. We don't create jobs at home. So as a government, we're taking the position that we must diversify the economy. We must reduce our dependence on food imports. We must also earn a lot more in terms of foreign exchange from agriculture and create jobs, create a lot of jobs. So what we're doing in Nigeria right now is taking agriculture in Nigeria back to its glory days, making Nigeria a global player in agriculture.
To make a definite departure from the past, the government developed carefully formulated major policy reforms to achieve hindless goals over a period of time. The reforms were designed to eliminate corruption in the distribution of seed and fertilizer, improve the functioning of market institutions, establish staple crop processing zones specifically to attract private investors. The reform has also focused on adding value to locally produced crops, as well as promote rural economy growth.
On the reforms that we are driving, it's not agriculture as you know it. It is agriculture as a business to grow the size of that particular economy for us. You know, nobody drinks oil, and nobody smokes gas, hopefully. But people eat food, and that's what Mr. President said, that we must use our population to buy what we produce, add value to it, create jobs here. And within the agricultural sector, we are going to create, God helping us, 3.5 million jobs between now and 2015.
Built into the transformation agenda is the target to create over 3 million jobs in the agricultural sector alone. This is being achieved with the development of rice, cassava, sorghum, cocoa, and cotton. The agricultural transformation is designed to add 20 million metric tons to domestic food supply by the year 2015. This will tackle food insecurity.
This government, we promised last year, we signed an agreement with the President that we will add to our domestic food supply a total of 20 million metric tons of food by 2015, so that we can link our budget to actual food production. This year, we've worked very, very hard. This year, we distributed 63,400 metric tons of seed, high-yielding seed for May, which was planted on 3.5 million hectares. That produced 7 million metric tons.
Recently, the government of President Jonathan took practical steps to tackle unemployment among youths using agriculture. It initiated a program called National Schools Agriculture Programs. Under the program, young students are to be introduced to various opportunities offered by the agricultural sector. It is being coordinated by the Office of the Special Assistant to the President on Schools Agriculture Program.
The National School Agricultural Program, NSAP, was therefore developed as a Catch Them Young initiative targeted at our school-age children to structurally transform the school education system and make agriculture more attractive and rewarding to them.
This program would involve a structural transformation of the school system. The main aim is the training of school-age children in the entrepreneurial skills in agribusiness to utilize the vast potentials in the agricultural sector.
So what we are doing is agriculture as a business. We are getting excited for our youth
to get into agriculture. That's why Mr. President has approved for us the initiative we are doing to create 1 million new jobs in agriculture, with youth in agriculture, doing commercial agriculture.
The youth that are coming up now, I always say that agri graduates and the diplomates we produce from the colleges of agriculture, they have no business looking for white-collar jobs, because they themselves can be employers of labor by establishing their own farms. A lot of the crimes we're having now is because a lot of these youths are not engaged. But believe me sincerely, with agriculture, which controls about 70% of the labor force, we can take a lot of these kids off the streets.
The overall target is to build technical and entrepreneurial skills in the students to equip them in running agriculture as a business. By this initiative, school leavers will acquire the skills to create jobs for themselves. There is already a plan to achieve this in the pilot phases. A school agribusiness club will be established in selected schools in the 12 states across the geopolitical zones. The club will concentrate on food and vegetable production. It would also be involved in horticulture, poultry, and livestock production. This program has the capacity to develop agriculture and alleviate poverty. A critical area where the president has made an unprecedented mark is the distribution of fertilizer. When he assumed office in 2011, the president inherited a corrupt system in which fertilizer was only allocated to political farmers. And since they practically had no use for it in the farms, these politicians turned around to export the product. In a bold move, President Jonathan summoned the uncommon political will to stop this trend in September 2011. Today, the real farmers have access to fertilizer, ending the malice which has been in vogue for 40 years. To facilitate the distribution of fertilizer and seeds at subsidized rates, a database of about 5 million farmers was developed. The Ministry of Agriculture has taken more creative measures in this same area by developing a growth enhancement program to provide support for seeds and fertilizer to 5 million farmers every year within 4 years. To facilitate the distribution, an electronic wallet system was developed using mobile phones. This is already working well. The exceptional credit that must go to President Jonathan is that Nigeria is the first country in Africa to launch an electronic wallet system for farmers.
Farmers today are getting seeds and fertilizers via their mobile phones. There's no politician between them and their fertilizer. We cleaned up the corruption of 40 years within 90 days in this country. So that tells me that things are working.
Before, a lot of the fertilizer, you know the story. The middlemen are the ones that actually make money out of fertilizer. Now, farmers are being registered, so we now have information on farmers. You can contact them. They have cell phones. They can get inputs directly, without going through middlemen. So, and also there are other values of the cell phone apart from just getting inputs. They can get market information. They can do a lot with the cell phones.
In its cassava transformation program, the government of President Jonathan has been practically innovative. It was designed in such a way to turn Nigeria, being the largest cassava producer in the world, into the largest processor.
Well, actually, the ATA is not to make Nigeria the largest producer of cassava. Already Nigeria is. But the problem with agriculture most often is that you produce but you don't add value. The post-harvest loss in crops range from 30 to 50%, depending on which crop you are talking about. So if the farmer, if you recall, there was a time government encouraged farmers to produce cassava. A lot of farmers went into cassava production. The following year, they didn't farm cassava because after producing so much cassava, there was wastage because of the lifespan and so on. They could not, they were not helped in terms of adding value to their product, to the cassava. And so the ATA now is emphasizing on adding value to the commodity itself. You produce the cassava, how do you transform it to cassava flour, which will last for a longer period of time, which you can market, much easier. How do you transform cassava, let's say, into cassava chips that you can store for a longer period and even export, and therefore create more wealth for your farmers and also for the country in terms of foreign exchange. So it's all about adding value to the product.
Not the knowledge, the technical knowledge of how to use cassava flour is going to cascade down to the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. Every village, every town, every city, and of course the housewives too. So it is not elitist at all. This is the beginning of a revolution. Eating Nigeria, growing Nigeria, using Nigeria, being proudly Nigerian, and creating jobs and prosperity for our people.
It's a very good initiative if they are implemented to the fullest. For example, the farmers that produce will be able to sell his products, and then availability of bakery flour will also be available. You understand? If a farmer produces and is able to sell, definitely he will be happy.
What the federal government or the government is trying to do now, it will give us very, very high hope of doing more than what we have been doing in our own mega way. So I very much cherish what the government is intending to do.
The government is also aggressively expanding markets for cassava through the development of high-quality cassava flour to substitute for wheat imports. Other cassava derivatives such as chips, starch, fructose, cassava syrup, and ethanol have also received the attention of government. From the substitution of 20% of bread wheat flour with cassava flour, the government plans to realize over 60 billion naira, which will be injected into the economy. President Jonathan specifically directed on the 30th of November 2011 that cassava flour bread be commercialized, and within 90 days, the commercialization was successfully achieved.
Years of breathtaking challenges, 4 years of unprecedented display of the undying Nigerian spirit, a rare determination to steer the Nigerian ship safely through the storms of social, economic and political challenges. With cool, calm and calculated resolve, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is taking Nigeria on the steady march to greatness. With President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, Nigeria is work in progress. Don't stop the match. Vote for continuity. Vote for President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Vote PDP.
It is instructive to note that 2 international corporations have bought into the commercialization of the cassava flour bread.
Of the development of cassava bread is that our cassava farmers and processors, most of who toil endlessly and earn little for their effort, now have cause to dream again, as government has begun the implementation of the Cassava Transformation Action Plan. Our goal is to expand markets for cassava farmers and turn Nigeria into the largest processor of
cassava in the world.
This cassava bread here is produced by the Park and Shop company. And you can see it here. This is Park and Shop by Spar. And this particular bread costs 210 naira. And compared to the regular wheat bread, it costs it's about 20 naira less for now. They are going to continue to reduce the price further. Now there is another one which is here, and this goes for 110 naira, and that price is also going to continue to come down, significantly. It is already 25 naira less than the regular wheat bread, but that price again will continue to decline. Now you take a look around, you see all the things they are doing from it. These are cakes, and these are cupcakes, and all these are coming straight out of the cassava. Now, what that tells you is this, that as a country we have significant amount of potential. People first said that this was not possible, Well, as you can see, UTC did it at 20%, Butterfield, and now Park and Shop is doing it already at 20%.
It's better compared to other ones, and the taste, you won't even know it's from cassava or it has any percentage of cassava in it. It's nice.
It's okay. It's good value. And talking about price, it's very easy to get, you understand? 100 naira for one.
It tastes very, very good. And I'm calling on all Nigerians to go for cassava bread, because to me it is healthier than the normal wheat bread we used to eat, and the price is okay, it's normal. Everybody can afford it, and it is very good.
By the end of February, we had done 92 trials. We were sure we had a commercially viable recipe for bread, so we rang the bell and made this information known to the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. And shortly after we did that, he paid us a visit here personally to see our facilities. He actually went through every stage of the process with us in our factory, and he left impressed. And shortly after, we were visited by NAFDAC and representatives of Flour Millers Association of Nigeria also came here to verify our claims. International agencies have also come here to verify our claims, and they've all left pleased.
An initiative that has been driven through the Department of Agriculture, primarily to function and drive the consumption of cassava in Nigeria. They came up with different formulations in terms of being able to make bread out of a cassava flour. We were initially looking at using small amounts like 2 or 3%, but we're currently up to 20% in terms of consumption of a loaf now can consist out of cassava flour.
There is a clear evidence that President Jonathan has transformed agriculture in the last 3 years. The massive success that has been recorded in agriculture, a component of the transformation agenda, is a clear recommendation which stands as credit for President Jonathan. There is also the Rice Transformation Initiative, which is being implemented in collaboration with the private sector in the country.
There is a transformation going on, and we are trying to increase production. The new mills, we are not part of the old system of cultivation, whereby farmers just plant in their small holdings and harvest and process. Now we have big mills that can process all the rice needed by a state or 2 or 3 or 5 states in Nigeria. So the demand for paddy has increased significantly.
As soon as the paddy comes in, we collect our samples. And the collection of samples is done so thorough, so that from each and every bag, samples are collected from the top, from the middle, and the bottom of the bag, which is in turn brought into the lab for analysis. We have a small mill here, a trial mill, that helps us to have a foresight of what the body will give us, the recovery ratio, the percentage broken. Over here is also our moisture. This is a machine that we use in determining the moisture content of our paddy before it's being procured. We also use it for our final rice too, because of the importance of moisture content. It's a parameter that determines the shelf life of our product, so we don't play with it.
The government has achieved massive success in other subsectors. For instance, the production of cocoa is receiving the attention of the administration. The Cocoa Transformation Program is aimed at creating about 390,000 jobs by doubling production, increased processing capacity of factories, establishing and strengthening small and medium enterprises in the subsector.
If you take cocoa, we're here in Southwest, where cocoa is the main thing. This year, we're distributing 3.6 million poles, high-yielding cocoa varieties that matures in 2.5 years instead of 5 years, and also give you yield of 2.2 tons per hectare instead of 0.4 tons per hectare. So all of this demonstrates, all of this we gave to farmers. Mr. President said we should give to farmers free of charge. It's never happened before in this country. Even if you take cotton in the north, we provided 1,575 metric tons of improved high-quality varieties of cotton, planted by 75,000 hectares by 38,000 farmers.
The Sorghum Transformation Program, which is targeting the Northwest and the Northeast, has succeeded in introducing 4 high-yielding sorghum species. In the area of cotton transformation, the administration's plan is to revive both the upstream and downstream cotton, textile and garment subsectors. The Oil Palm Transformation Value Chain Action Plan is aimed at transforming the ailing oil palm industry in Nigeria. About 4 million improved Chinara oil palm nuts from the Nigerian Institute for Oil Palm Research is being distributed to 70 public and private sector nursery operators. Maize is one commodity that has also been receiving the attention of the transformation program. Increasing maize yields and its cultivation, particularly in high production potential areas of the country, will jumpstart a second maize green revolution in the country. The livestock subsector is an important and integral component of Nigeria's agriculture and is a major source of household wealth and food security. The livestock subsector contributed about 19% of the agricultural GDP in 2007. The main goal of Beef Transformation Agenda is to provide adequate supply of quality meat in the domestic market and develop the potentials towards export. The dairy aspects of livestock aims at developing more intensive and sustainable farming systems in order to partly achieve self-sufficiency in milk production. In the area of poultry development, the goal of the transformation agenda is to support the sustained growth of the poultry industry with expanded capacity for regional competitiveness so as to contribute more to animal protein supply, jobs and wealth creation. Also, the bottleneck and high cost associated with getting credit facilities are beginning to ease with the provision of a $300 million loan from the World Bank for farmers. Several states in the country have started soliciting for foreign direct investment for the development of agriculture. They include Lagos, Kwara, and Taraba.